Good afternoon, YouTube. This is Chris over at SkyTech Enterprise Solutions. And today we want to take a look at Splunk certifications. Let's get into it. So I have been speaking to a few friends regarding Splunk in particular, um, in terms of becoming, friends. I have friends that are getting into the cybersecurity field, um, more specifically um, the SOC, or the Security Operations Center branch or brand of cybersecurity. And a lot of times, folks would say, well, what software do I need to know? What software do I need in order to get into that field? Obviously, there are many software in the field of cybersecurity for various things, right? But one of the key industry standard software modules or software platforms is Splunk. So today we're going to browse through Splunk, look at all the certifications that come with it, because obviously, if there's any software that you're interested in, um, it makes sense, or as someone will say, it behooves you to find out as much as possible about that software. You want to become essentially a guru of that software. You want to know as much as possible, and how best, what other way can you become that guru than to get certified in that software. Okay, so let's jump into it. So first thing we want to do here is we have browsed to splunk.com and we're looking at the training and certifications page. Okay, and again, it tells you get more out of your Splunk investment and boost your earning power with our wide range of certification options. Earning power is the key point for me, right? So if you're a Splunk professional, you can bet your last dollar that these certifications will prove to employers that you know your stuff. Okay. And with that, your earning power would increase. And this is for life. This is a major, no one can take a cert away from you. People can take your money, taxes and whatnot, but no one can take your certification from you. So let's check these out. Let's check these out. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to do a count of how many certifications there are, because this seems to be quite a list here. I've seen software that have 3 or 4 certifications, but this one here seems to have more than that. So let's get into it. So the first one here is Splunk Core Certified User. Second one is Splunk Core Certified Power User. The third cert is Splunk Core Certified Advanced Power User. The fourth is Splunk Cloud Certified Admin. The fifth is Splunk Enterprise Certified Admin. The sixth is Splunk Enterprise Certified Architect. The seventh certification here is Splunk Core Certified Consultant. The eighth is Splunk Certified Developer. The ninth is Splunk Enterprise Security Certified Admin. The 10th certification is Splunk IT Service Intelligence Certified Admin. And then the 11th and last on this list is Splunk SOAR Certified Automation Developer. All right, let's see what these certifications demand of you. So in order to pass the Splunk Core Certified User exam, you'll need to know how to perform searches, right? You'll need to know how to use fields. You'll need to know how to create alerts, basic reports, and dashboards. All right. And the products you'll be using will be Splunk Enterprise and Splunk Cloud. Enterprise could be an in-house installation, right? And then, of course, the cloud is a cloud. No need to introduce that concept. The Splunk Enterprise will be software you can install on your server. Could be on one machine or multiple, whereas the cloud will be in the cloud, and you may not have to install software on your computer. As IT professionals, you always want to find out how much certifications cost. Okay, so let's just do that. we're looking here, and to me, this looks like the entry level cert, right? So it's the Splunk Core Certified User, someone that simply knows how to use Splunk. And it's coming in at a whopping $130. Okay. Of course, it's going to be 60 minutes and you get 60 multiple choice questions. Sounds like 1 minute, one question per minute, but on average. Like I said, it's an entry level certification. They have some prep materials here for you to go through. But obviously, you can always get prep material, old exams from companies such as Test King and others, and do your practice test. When you purchase some of your products, it comes with software that you can install and do your prep and test yourself, time yourself, etc. So without further ado, we're going to look at the second certification here, which is the Splunk Core Certified Power User. It requires of you to understand Splunk language commands, or what many people call SPL here. You'll need to know how to create knowledge objects, workflow actions, and data models. You'll need to know how to use field aliases, calculated fields, macros, and you'll also have to know how to normalize data. Macros reminds me of my Excel days, where you'll have to construct macros and refer to different, sometimes you may have to refer to different tabs within the same worksheet and run some functions on your data. Required or related products here is Splunk Enterprise and Splunk Cloud. So this seems to be a trend. It's either the Splunk Cloud or the Splunk Enterprise, or both. Okay. All right. Let's again. I think we already looked at this, right? Well, we didn't. So it's 60 minutes, 65 multiple choice questions, $130. And this right here sounds like a night in the club for most people here. You can blow this money in one night. You can spend this at the store, at the outlet, shopping for your favorite clothes. Your cell phone costs more than this, right? So I think $130 is a good investment if you're serious about your professional career and your income for the rest of your life. I think this is a very small sacrifice. So if you're really serious about your career, I think this is a great investment. $130, amazing price. I've seen certifications that are, $500, $600, $800, etc. And then with those, if you don't pass it, you'll have to retake it and spend another $800, right? Whereas this here is $130. It's highly affordable. All right, let's move on to the third certification here. It's Splunk Enterprise Certified Admin. It requires you to know how to manage a Splunk Enterprise installation on a daily basis. It also requires you to gain expertise in license management. And license management here is basically referring to, let's say, your company purchases Splunk, and they want to buy the licenses or seats, right? It's basically accounts, right? You have 12 developers, 10 admins, 2 architects, yada yada. Those are your licensing. So somewhere in the Splunk Enterprise interface, you're going to have your license page where you'll have to be able to go in and say, well, John Doe is a developer. We just got 2 new admins, so we'll add them in here, et cetera, et cetera. You have to know how to do that, how to make sure these licenses don't expire on your watch. And then, your folks come in and they can't log into their Splunk interface. Okay, you don't want that. All right, so next you'll also have to have expertise in indexers and search heads, configuration, monitoring, and data ingest. So indexers and search heads are just 2 of the components of Splunk. So typically when you install your Splunk software, be it on a single computer or multiple servers or nodes, you will be installing indexers and search heads and other components. Obviously, you can spread these out, meaning you can have indexers on different computers, search heads on different computers, etc. Okay, but you'll have to know how to do this. Okay, which means you will have to know, have some server side knowledge, whether it's Linux server or Windows servers. So you have to know how to configure that. Also, you would have to know how to monitor and data ingest. Data ingest basically says, Splunk is consuming data. You'd have to know how to use Splunk to import data into Splunk, right? And have Splunk digest it. So you're ingesting data. It could be data from log files from SQL Server, Oracle Server, ASP.NET servers, SharePoint servers, you name it. All these machines create log files. You're going to have to know how to use Splunk to import this information and run queries against it, right? You're also going to have to know how to monitor Splunk itself. So you're not monitoring just the computers, but you're actually monitoring Splunk itself. You're going to have to know how to do that in order to pass this exam. All right, let's go check out the price. Again, $130. Okay, can't go wrong with that. All right, so this is the Splunk Enterprise Certified Administrator. So now we go back. Okay, the next one here is the Splunk Enterprise Certified Architect. This exam requires you another $130 exam, mind you, requires you to understand the best practices for planning, data collection, and sizing deployments. Okay, so you're an architect in this role. So you need to be the guy or the gal that your CIO can come to and say, hey, we're setting up this new office, or hey, we've never used Splunk. Okay, so can you give me some numbers and some bullet points on planning, data collection, and sizing deployments? We have 1,000 users, but they churn out, 10 terabytes of data every month. We have this online processing e-commerce environment here, which is global, and it churns out, 50 terabytes of log files and transactions every week, right? You have to be, if you're this guy or this woman or this lady, you're going to have to know how to do all this planning for data collection and sizing deployments, okay? The next skill set you need to have is you have to know how to manage and troubleshoot a distributed deployment with indexer and search head clustering. And I think I mentioned that earlier. Some environments you're going to have to know how to distribute your installation, meaning you're not installing Splunk on just one server. You're not configuring it on one machine. Search heads could be 4 search heads on different, servers somewhere closer to data, or closer to your index, your actual Splunk index. You could have your indexer or search heads in different configurations based on your environment. And these are things you're going to have to know how to do. You're going to have to be able to figure out, go to your network crew and say, hey, what's the topology? Do we have let's say a Visio diagram for the old school IT professionals in here? Give me a Visio diagram of our network environment, right? You can get a good sense of where your data is, okay? All right, the next cert here is the Splunk Core Certified Consultant. So now we're going from architect to consultant. All right, so let's see what's the difference here. You're going to have to understand how to deploy and implement large Splunk installations. So as you see, this thing here it looks like it's kind of going from easy to hard to super hard or super difficult, right? So here we are. This consultant has to know how to implement large Splunk installation. And by large is what I just mentioned. You're going to have to know how to configure Splunk to ingest gigantic volumes of data. meet, you know, in order to meet your business requirements. So you're just not doing this just because. You're doing this because your CIO or his boss wants some information, right? Et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. You also have to have the ability to gain expert knowledge of multi-tier Splunk architectures, clustering, and scalability. Again, your system that you build has to be able to become multi-tiered, right? Spread out different parts of the network. Um, you know, you have diverse environments, sources of data. You have different machines running. You have Macs, Linux, Windows, cell phones, laptops, all these diverse. Heck, you have phone, you have watches that are actually also connected to the network and what have you. Okay, and all these devices have to be able to be scanned. Their log files have to be able to be stored somewhere. So Splunk can go and monitor, search through, and query this data, right? And you have to be able to become scalable, meaning if a new need comes along, you have to be able to expand according to that new need. Okay. All right. So the next cert that we're going to look at is Splunk Certified Developer. This is one of my favorite certs, being that I have a developer background. This one here is for your web geeks. Okay. The skills you need are you have to be able to build apps using Splunk Web Framework, which is basically a bunch of code, HTML, jQuery, JavaScript, etc., right? And some other native Splunk languages. But essentially what you're doing is you're building fancy dashboards for your audience, pretty much. You'll also have to know how to use drill downs, advanced behaviors, and visualizations, right? Pie charts, Gantt charts, planning, creating, and packaging apps, and REST endpoints. All these things are just web-based technology. So this whole section here, the Splunk Certified Developer cert, looks like something a web developer can transition into down the road. The next cert we have is the Splunk Enterprise Security Certified Admin. And the name alone leads me to think that we're talking about Splunk security in itself, right? So here, you're going to have to know how to manage Splunk Enterprise Security Environment, understand event processing deployment requirements, technology add-ons, risk analysis settings, threat and protocol intelligence and customization. So this here sounds very cybersecurity heavy, right? We're talking security. You know, we're talking about analysis settings. We're talking about risk analysis settings. We're mentioning threat, protocol intelligence, right? These are all cybersecurity keywords. Okay. The next, which is good. I mean, at this level, you know, you're a key player in any IT environment, especially ones with high risk, tons of data, you know, PII, PHI, and you know, could be an online could be a social media site or an online processing e-commerce platform, where you have social security numbers, credit cards, bank card numbers, etc. You know, so this is pretty high level. You're playing with the big boys on this level. This is not for entry newbies. The last but one cert we have here is the Splunk IT Service Intelligence Certified. So here we went from Splunk Enterprise Security Certified Admin, and we're over here at Splunk IT Service Intelligence certified admin. Let's go find what's different about this because they sound pretty similar. Um, you'll have to know how to install and configure Splunk IT Service Intelligence, or ITSI. Never heard of it, but it sounds pretty interesting here. Sounds like a word salad, but it might mean something. I gotta check. I gotta look into it and do another video or two about it. Second skill set you're gonna need listed here is you'll have to know how to gain insight into architecture, deployment, planning, design and implementation, and developing glass tables and deep dives. I know what a deep dive is. A glass table, sure, I have one in my living room, but I'm not sure what that means over here. So again, homework for me to do, glass tables, and that'll be another video, but it looks like the software that you're going to have to know, or in this case, they're calling it the related products, is Splunk ITSI. Again, it's Splunk IT Service Intelligence. We'll find out what that is. Last on this list is your Splunk SOAR Certified Automation Developer. They didn't spell out what this acronym means here, but in order to pass this exam, you'll have to know how to install, configure, and use SOAR servers. You'll also have to know how to plan, design, create, and debug classic playbooks. Didn't know Splunk had a playbook. All right, one more thing to find out. It's going to be another video. You'll also have to understand complex SOAR solution development and integration, including custom coding and REST API. The tool you need to understand or have experience using is Splunk SOAR. So let's go find out what this means over here. Okay. So, yep, there it is. SOC analyst, right? Security Operations Center analyst. If you're looking into that career path, you need to pay attention to Splunk. Make that sacrifice, make that investment in yourself, and take that $130 exam. Okay, you will not regret it. And then cybersecurity professionals in general. These are listed, and then of course you have your Splunk diehard gurus. Right, those are the people or the groups of people who are advised to take this exam. Again, it's another $130 exam, 60 minutes for 45 multiple choice questions. All right, you can go over here and register for the exam. I'm sure that link will probably send you over to Pearson VUE, where you can actually register for your exam. Okay, you also have some exam prep links over here to help you in your journey. All right, so we did not get an explanation of what SOAR means. Okay, so that will be another video. SOAR with relation to Splunk, right? We want to be specific about it, not just general. So I'll do another video there and share that information with you. But yeah, folks, we have 11 certs here. Each one of them is $130. Yeah, I don't recommend you getting each and every single one of them, but you should have a couple under your belt if you're going to embark on a Splunk certification journey, or if you want to become a Splunk professional, right? Guys, this is serious business. These companies look out for these certifications. And once you have these listed on your resume, this is pure gold. I mean, your resume will get calls, your phone call will just be lit, okay? With companies begging you to come on board, do remote work. What do you need? We'll give you more money and you can work remote. Just make sure you can use Splunk to look at our log files and our data, right? And provide us some reports. I mean, yeah, this is pretty cool stuff here. So again, this is Chris Before. I'm gonna end this video now. Like I said, I got some research to do, and I'll be coming back with some more information in my next video. See you then.